I live?
Mm-hmm.
All right, hello and welcome to another Whiteboard Training Friday. I'm Isaiah Henkel with Cheeky Scientist, and today we're talking about how to choose between 2 or more job offers. So hiring for PhDs continues to be up, and I want to give you a little tip. It's going to stay up for the rest of this year. With the economy the way that it is, most companies, most departments within companies and industry, they're going to have a surplus of budget, and they need to spend that budget before the end of the year. Why do they want to spend it instead of saving it? Because if they don't hit their budget, it's very likely that next year the higher ups at the company are going to give that department a smaller budget, right? So if you come in 20% under budget for the year, you might think it's a good thing, but it's actually better to hit budget, because then you'll get that same budget or more next year, right? So think about it in terms of the department. So if that department is hiring and they have a surplus of money, what are they going to do? They're going to hire more, right? They're going to hire additional candidates. We actually just had the biggest week of hiring that we've ever seen this past week. So no matter what you think about the economy or what you're hearing in the news for PhDs, hiring is way up. We had more PhD candidates hired, more PhDs who are job candidates hired into industry last week than ever before, ever since we've been in existence, okay? So now is the time to lean into your job search. This will continue through the end of the year again, because budgets need to be met. And budgets are bigger than ever because the economy is doing very well right now. Okay, so if you're a PhD watching this, go lean into your job search, get the training that you need, get the network that you need to start getting offers. Now, one thing that we've seen come up because of the hiring increase is that PhDs are getting more than one job offer at a time. And they're having to experience something they've never experienced before, which is choosing between multiple job offers. They've gone from saying, how can I even just find a job or a company that's interested in me, to having multiple job offers and not being able to decide. So what's important? You might think it's easy. You might say, well, whichever job offers me a higher salary. But as a PhD, you know that salary isn't everything. Now, of course, you want to be paid well for doing meaningful work, but if you have multiple job offers in industry where the salary is good or very close for those different job offers, what are you going to use to decide on which position to take? Right? What are the qualifiers? What are the things you need to think about? And they might seem obvious. Some of them are obvious, some of them are not so obvious. I'm going to try to put them into sequence, into priority here for you, so you can ask questions to choose the job that's right for you. Number 1, impact is more important than salary. And again, we're not talking about comparing, staying in a postdoc in academia and getting paid $30,000, $40,000 a year versus an industry job where the average is $91,000 or more for PhDs in STEM. Okay, which it is. That's not the comparison. We're talking about 2 different job positions or more where one's offering you $80,000, one's offering you $90,000. But the $80,000 position is going to allow you to have a much bigger impact. Okay, you're going to be able to work very closely with people that you want to work with to get something that you really want to get done, right? You're going to get to work on a treatment for XYZ disease, something you've always wanted to do. You're going to finally get into commercialization. You're going to finally be able to get into development or into a data scientist role, whatever it is, right? The impact of that position matters more than salary, okay? Especially when it's within a few $1,000s. Okay, so the impact. Ask yourself, what impact am I going to have in this role, and how quickly am I going to have that impact? Okay, key questions. Number 2. Experience versus salary. This is closely tied to impact. So experience is also more important than salary. So let's go back to our previous example. $80,000 position versus $90,000 position. Maybe they have the same job title. Maybe one's with a larger company, one's with a smaller company. Factor all of that in and decide which experience is going to be better. Where are you going to gain the most experience, in other words? Okay, and this again is tied very closely to impact. Wherever you're going to have the most impact, you're usually going to gain the most skills. Where are you going to get to do the things that are going to matter for your long-term career trajectory, which is where we're going next. Okay, so what experience are you gaining that you don't have already, right? Think about it as things you can add to your resume, or more importantly to your LinkedIn profile. Certainly think about it in terms of the future conversations you can have with future employers. What are you going to gain, and how soon are you going to gain it in terms of experience and skills at that new position? Okay, crucial question to ask. Number 3, like I said, trajectory. We're going there next. So trajectory. Where can you go in this career? If it's a smaller company, they're offering you a higher salary, maybe they're offering you equity, but there's no real career growth plan, right? Maybe you want to take a job at a larger company where the salary is a bit lower. That might surprise you. Sometimes larger companies offer a lower salary because there is a much more well-defined hierarchy in terms of where you're going to go next. Okay, but at the same time, some big companies, they open up a new department, there's nowhere to go. Or you do informational interviews and you talk to people and they've been in the same position for 3, 4, 5 years. That means that no growth is happening. People are getting into positions and they're staying there. And their salary increases might only be 2% or 3% year over year at those larger companies. Whereas maybe a smaller or mid-sized company, there's huge jumps in salary, right? And you can take on more and more leadership roles. What's the trajectory? You have to ask these questions during informational interviews. Ask them on the actual interviews too, even on the phone screens, during networking, etc. Number 4, culture versus salary. The culture, the people that you're working with. We talked about this on our radio show this past week, and there was some great studies, peer-reviewed studies that showed that the culture, the people that you're working with, how you work, what the environment is like, is crucial to your happiness on the job, obviously, right? But also how you handle stressful times. There's going to be stress at work. Whether or not it feels stressful is determined by the culture, by the people that you're working with. Okay, so taking a position that pays you $10,000 less than salary might seem like a big deal until you factor in culture, where, how would it feel to go to work every day happy, getting along with people you're working with, everybody moving towards the same goal, having clarity of your role, clarity of where you're going. This stuff matters. Culture is more than just what you wear to work or when you have to show up. It's all of the processes. It's how people work. It's the network itself. It's the how you get to the what. The what is the strategy. The how is the culture. Okay, this is more important than salary too. Number 5, leadership. The same study that I referred to for number 4 showed that more than anything else, your happiness in the position that you're getting into comes down to leadership, the people that you are reporting to. Okay, so it's very important for you to ask yourself and to ask the interviewers, whether it's an informational interview or an actual interview, who you're going to be reporting to. What does the hierarchy look like? Who does that person report to? Is there multiple people you have to report directly to, right? Do you have multiple bosses? Do you have 7, 8 bosses, which can make it very difficult? And are you going to get to interview with the person that you're going to be reporting to directly? You want to make sure you have good rapport with that person, because how they are as a leader, their management style, and how that's aligned with your style and the way you like to learn, like to work, is crucial. More than anything else, that will affect your happiness on the job, your success on the job. Studies show this time and time again. So this is more important than everything. That's why I have more important than all. So consider who you're going to be reporting to, who you're going to be working closely to. For those of you that have had a difficult relationship with your PI or a mentor or a thesis committee member, you know how dramatically this can affect you day to day. You have to look at the leadership. Okay, very, very important. And then and only then can you look at salary. Salary, benefits, etc. Right? So once you've evaluated impact, once you've evaluated the experiences and skills that you're going to get on the job, once you've evaluated the trajectory, the culture, leadership, right, between the 2 different positions, 2 or more, then you can look at the salary, then you can look at the benefits. And remember, those things are always negotiable. The other 5 things we talked about before salary usually are not negotiable. The culture is not going to change at a company just for you, especially right away. The leadership positions, they're going to be there when you show up. Okay, the career trajectory, all these things, they're not negotiable the same way that salary and benefits are. So evaluate those 5 things first. If you have any questions on this, if you want to learn more about how to get a job in industry or how to get your next job, how to decide between 2 different positions, go to phdsgethired.com. phdsgethired.com, put in your name and email address. We'll send you all of our free resources on transitioning into industry and excelling as a business leader, because PhDs are business leaders. You just have to change your mindset, your habits, your skills, and we can help you do that. As always, remember your value as a PhD and start thinking and acting like a successful industry professional.